gets us to what myth number 2. Like, this is how he could finish more. This is how he could create more chances. Myth number 1, like, all right, create more chances so then you'll just finish more.
This is probably the most
Number
prevalent
2
myth
is the most prevalent.
is that he misses the net.
He just misses the net a ton. And he does raw totals,
he does.
Miss the net a lot. But considering how much he shoots, his conversion rate of shots on net versus shot attempts is pretty good.
He is about middle of the road. And when I say accuracy percentage, what I'm looking at is the percentage of shots on goal versus total attempts. 53.1% is not great, but it's not terrible. This year, it ranked 224th out of 414 NHL forwards. That is pretty much smack in the middle of NHL forwards. That doesn't mean he couldn't get better at it. It would be great if he was in the top 100, because that's more opportunities for the goalie to deal with a high-quality shot. It would be great if he became a more accurate shooter. It is not accurate to say, pun intended, that he is an inaccurate shooter. He is a middle-of-the-road shooter. The main 2 reasons why this has become an accepted, if mistaken, truism in Flyer circles. Number 1 is, as you mentioned, shoots the puck a ton. He shot the puck a lot last year. So if you shoot the puck a lot, you're going to miss the net a lot. It's the same idea of, if you, what's the turnovers thing? It's like, well, yeah, Jake Voracek turned the puck over a lot because he had the puck all the time.
Because it was his job to create the entry.
Yeah.
So, like, every time he didn't do that, it was a turnover. Also, guys don't get credited for turnovers when they dump the puck in, which is fucking insane to me. But anyway, it's totally different conversation. Yeah, he shoots a ton, you're going to miss. And it's like, well, why doesn't he? Here's the thing. What else do we kill guys for? When the goalie doesn't have to move and you hit him square in the chest. That is not the job of especially a dude who's trying to be at least a sniper. He's not trying to hit the goalie square in the chest. He is trying to beat the goalie clean, picking a corner, hitting the 5, whatever it is. That's hard to do.
It is. No, you're gonna miss some shots because you're trying to beat the goalie and put it in a spot where the goalie isn't. And goalies are real good, so they don't leave a lot of spaces to shoot.
And they're all 6'6" now.
Yeah, they're all friggin' huge. Yeah. But that's number 1, that he just shoots a lot, so he's gonna miss a lot. That's just the nature of being a volume shooter. The second reason, though, and I think this is another big part of it, at the start of last season, he did, objectively speaking, miss the net a lot. And it's real. Once you have that perception of a guy, it's hard to break it. In the first, I looked at the first 7 games of last season, he took 41 shot attempts, hit the net just 18 times, which was a 44% accuracy rate. That would have been way down. If he would have held that all year, that would have been way down at the bottom. It was a real problem. I remember having conversations with multiple people, both who cover the team and people who work for the team, being like, what the hell? Why is he missing all these shots? And
it was legitimately bad.
It was bad. And it was a problem. He addressed it. But the thing is that once you have it in your head that Owen Tippett misses all the shots, then if he's shooting a ton, he's still missing shots, but he's hitting a lot of shots too. Every shot he misses then sticks in your crowd. It's like, oh, there he goes again. There's Tippett, Mr. Inaccurate. And I think that's why it became a thing.
Wasn't it a thing with his sticks? Was it the Konechny stick thing? Was that the missing?
I do vaguely remember that being a thing. I also think people obsess too much over the stick thing. Maybe it's something I don't care about that much because I don't play hockey anymore. But that's something where I will say this, maybe there clearly is a market for hockey nerds who love to talk about equipment. I am never going to give that to you. I find equipment to be the most boring thing in the world. But there are a lot of people who like goalie people especially are obsessed with gloves and pads and what company are they using? And oh my God, I get that that's a thing. I'm never going to care about
the equipment being cool is why 75% of goalies become goalies. But I just remember it was.
I apologize to the equipment nerds. That's just never going to be me.
He started using Konechny sticks, I think, and then suddenly he was scoring a ton.
And then he went back to his sticks, and then it was still fine.
It was still okay. Yeah. But I'd say it's only a thing to me because. Okay, that's just an excuse. But I remember at the same time, Alex Ovechkin, whatever stick company he uses, they discontinued whatever his model was. Mm-hmm. I was like, really? you're a stick company that makes the greatest goal scorer stick, and
I would think people would want to buy that.
For whatever reason, they discontinued that model, and it took them to like the time he started scoring, and they like found an exact same basic thing, and then all of a sudden it was good. So I don't know. Like I was never good enough to like for the stick to matter. Like it was,
I think that was my thing too.
I could have used Wayne Gretzky's stick, and it was like it doesn't matter, man. You're not good. So it never mattered to me.
Same.
But maybe somebody like with that sort of shot, and I'm not going to compare Ovechkin to Owen Tippett, but they have the same job. It's to score goals. Yeah. Like maybe that matters so much, but it was just a thing. But the missing the net early in the year was a legitimate problem. And like you said, once you identify that as a problem, like you never shake that. Like he could shoot 50% next year and people will be like, what about the other 50?
Yeah, exactly. No, once the perception is there, then it sticks because again, as a volume shooter, he's going to miss the net a lot because he just shoots a lot. And then every time you see him miss the net, here he goes again. So that's why these types of columns and these types of shows are important because it's just a reminder that like, look, Tippett could get better at being accurate. He's middle of the road right now, but he's not bad.
And when I say like myth number 1 and number 2 are related, it's to me like he's going to miss the net because he's going to shoot 400 times this year probably. I need him on the shots he does get on net to convert at a higher rate. Like he's going to miss. He's maybe missing less would be great because then the goalie could just like fuck up and that's cool. But I need him to shoot above 10%. Like, what was he, 9.7 or something last year?
But again,
I need him at 12 or 13%.
But that's the thing, and this goes back to, as you said, these two are linked. Goes back to myth number 1. It's not that he's shooting at a low percentage because he's not finishing on chances. He has more actual goals and expected goals. It's because he's taking distance shots.
Yes.
And if you want him to have a higher shooting percentage, either he's going to have to become like the best distance shooter ever, or he's going to have to shoot more in close where the percentage of likelihood of him scoring is higher.
We all silly like the mayor.